3:47 a.m. You promised yourself one more video, then sleep. 40 videos later, you set the phone down. And inside, nothing. Not funny. Not sad. Just empty. Here's the scary part. That feeling doesn't stay on the phone. You open a book, boring. You go for a walk, boring. You sit with friends, and catch yourself thinking you'd have more fun scrolling right now instead. You used to get bored when there was nothing to do. Now you get bored, even while you're doing something. And that should scare you more than it probably does. This doesn't mean you've become a boring person. It means your brain has physically rewired itself around how you've been feeding it. And today, we're breaking down why that happens, what scientists actually say about it, and how to reverse it. The average person touches their phone more than 2,600 times a day and picks it up more than 50 times. None of that is an accident, and it's not weak willpower. It's the result of systems built by some of the best behavioral specialists on the planet, whose entire job was making sure you couldn't stop. Here's the mechanism underneath it. Your brain doesn't release dopamine from pleasure itself. It releases dopamine from the anticipation of pleasure. Every swipe is a tiny bet. Maybe this next video is the one. Sometimes it is. And that unpredictability keeps you locked in far harder than if every video were guaranteed to be good. It's the exact same mechanism that keeps people glued to slot machines for hours. Not the guarantee of a reward, but the chance of one. There's a second force pulling you down the feed. The human brain is evolutionarily wired to notice threats faster than good news. Spotting danger kept our ancestors alive, while a calm sunset never did. Today, that same wiring means an algorithm feeding you panicked headlines, and other people's drama is simply pressing a very old, very effective button inside your head. Stanford psychiatrist Anna Lembke, who had spent years studying the nature of addiction, sums up where this leads. Chasing pleasure purely for pleasure's sake eventually backfires into anhedonia, the inability to feel enjoyment from anything at all. A brain that gets dopamine too often and too easily gradually stops registering ordinary life, because ordinary life simply can't compete with a feed that refreshes every second. And here's proof this isn't just a nice theory. Researchers at Carnegie Mellon University ran an experiment. Students took a test, and one group received text notifications during it, while another group had their phones fully switched off. The group getting notifications scored about 20% lower on average, not because they were physically distracted by the screen, but because the human brain can truly hold only one or two thoughts at once, and every task switch costs you a slice of focus that doesn't fully come back, even after you return to what you were doing. The third fact is even harder to ignore. A study on teenagers found that those who spend 5 or more hours a day on their phones are 71% more likely to have risk factors for depression compared to those who use their phones for about an hour a day. No one is claiming the phone directly causes depression, but the link is too strong to wave away. So no, this isn't about willpower. You're not broken, and you're not lazy. You're simply using a product that is, quite literally, engineered to root around your ability to tell yourself, enough. But some things actually work, and none of them involve deleting every app and moving into the woods. First, the 5-minute rule. Catch yourself scrolling? Don't ban yourself outright. Just set a timer for 5 minutes. You're not quitting, you're just pausing. By the time the timer goes off, the compulsive urge has almost always faded on its own. Second, make your phone slightly annoying. Move the most addictive apps off your home screen. Switch your display to grayscale. Log out so you have to sign back in every time. Small friction breaks the automatic pattern. You start noticing the habit the moment you reach for it, instead of running on pure autopilot. Third, write a short to-do list for tomorrow the night before. A huge chunk of scrolling happens not because you're bored, but because in that exact moment, you simply don't know what else to do. A ready-made list of 3 or 4 things closes that gap before your hand even reaches for the phone. Fourth, put your phone to bed before you do, physically in another room. This isn't just a ritual, Sleep quality is directly tied to how well you'll be able to control yourself the next day. And fifth, the most underrated one, go outside and talk to people in person, even if starting the conversation feels awkward. Real human connection restores your dopamine system in a completely different way than the feed does. It gives your brain exactly what that reward system evolved for in the first place: connection, not an endless stream of other people's highlight reels. You don't need to delete your phone forever or swear you'll never open it again. But your brain deserves more than an endless feed of 30-second flashes that leave nothing behind but emptiness. So here's the question. Which one of these are you actually going to try today, instead of just opening your phone one more time?